Right, Graham, so here we are, it's St James's Park.
Hi, Mark.
Home of Newcastle United.
Yeah, Newcastle. I've got my colours on though, just in case. So we're here. Why we're here, Mark?
Well, we're here today because we've got our final end of year conference with all of the sales team initially and then with all of the company later on. So we're very much looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And we just thought we'd take this opportunity to record the podcast here at St James's Park just to make you happy.
So they've dragged us here, kicking and screaming. But we're here, we've got the sales conference. We're going to go and do Home Alone, episode 3, with Mr. Rob Gent from MAB and Mr. Ben Riley from First Mortgage. So let's get into it, Mark.
Okay, let's go.
So, welcome along again to our third podcast, Home Alone. Today, we welcome Mr. Rob Gent from MAB. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you.
Everybody knows Mr. Ben Riley from First Mortgage.
Hi, guys.
And my co-host there, Mark Beatty. So, Mark, do you want to kick off the questions to Rob?
Yes, so it's great to have you here, Rob. Although it doesn't look it, you've been in the financial services sector for 40 years. So can you just tell us a little bit about your journey so far?
Yeah, thank you for that, Mark. Great question. Certainly feels like more than 40 years. Started as licking stamps in the post room at 15. Worked 29 years for L&G, various roles, so I worked through the ranks there. Then got poached by Peter Brobnicki, Mortgage Advice Bureau Chief Exec, and I've been there just over 7 years now. Done various small roles before L&G, but those are my main two careers.
Mm-hmm. So within your sales director role, could you just give us summary as to what that
Yeah.
encompasses and what your responsibilities are?
Yeah, so I guess my main responsibility is trying to keep our key business partners happy. It's a difficult task. Ben,
Mr. Riley and Mr. Maguire happy. I agree with
How did you look at
I
him?
agree with you.
Don't tell me with that bullshit.
I do that to some extent. They tell me if I don't. So so I manage a team of regional sales directors and regional managers. They're responsible for the relationship with our 195 business partners, which represents over 2,000 advisors. So it's responsible for really helping increase revenue into those businesses, but helping with all the protection, lenders, GI partners, and increasing those volumes really. So that's the.
You're quite a busy man then.
We are quite busy. So it's like I always trying to think it's like managing a box of frogs that you just let loose. It's really difficult. But the interesting thing about that is. The businesses are all different, and we've got some real great businesses that come with us, and it's a reflection of our results this year is around what type of businesses we work with.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Rob, we know MAB have got a lot of firms in the EA space. Have we seen a significant drop in purchase transactions this year?
So you're right about estate agents, EAs. They represent around about 35 to 40% of our leads.
Right.
It's where MAB started back in the day,
right,
when Peter first set the business up. So we certainly have seen a lot of drop off in purchases. So if we go back 12 months, 65% of our mortgage volume came from purchases, 35% from retention. It switched slightly the other way, so it's roughly 50-50 at the moment.
Right,
so
okay.
It has switched.
Quite a switch then, really, 15%.
Yeah, it's not as much as we thought. I think the reason it hasn't gone the other way entirely is because of the estate agency relationships. Because there are estate agents that are still selling houses out there.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, obviously you're covering the whole country, so you're going to see a change from the south against up to the northeast, and it's going to fluctuate across all regions, I'm guessing. Yeah.
That's right. So there's certain set pockets, such as Leeds. If you look at Leeds, that's quite buoyant at the minute. There's a lot of development. I know you guys are reaching out into that space as well. London's a little bit dampened at the minute, but that's going to go again, we feel, in Q1. And that tends to stimulate the market as well and all the surrounding areas. So, the market, you're going to touch on it in a minute, but I think there's a lot of pent-up, demand for actually selling houses.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see some of that in Q1 next year.
Yeah, I know I've spoken to a few estate agents this week when we've been out on visits, and they're starting to see a lot more inquiries, a lot more interest coming through.
That's right.
There's a lot of listings going on ready for Boxing Day, busiest day for estate agents. So it looks as though it's bubbling away. I think obviously everybody's now happy with the rates. They're starting to come down. We've talked about this, Ben, haven't we?
Yeah.
Numerous occasions over the last couple of months. We've seen about 20 weeks worth of reductions now, haven't we?
Yeah, and I expect that to continue, Graham.
Yeah.
Obviously, further good news yesterday.
Yeah, further good reasons there. If you look at obviously inflation, the drop in that was unexpected. I think down to 3.9. Rishi's actually done what he said he was going to do. He's halved that, so I don't know how that'll play through in the election next year. Maybe too late, but we don't know what's going to happen. If you look at property prices, when we started the year, it was doom and gloom. They were expecting 35% reduction in property prices. That's not happened. You're probably 5 or 10%. A correction, I think it is, because property prices did jump, if you remember the previous year.
After COVID, exactly.
So I think next year we'll probably see a 2 to 3% property growth in prices, which is about right.
Yeah. So again, more positives. Again, we talk about this all the time, don't we, on a weekly basis. Mainstream media seem to miss out these positive bits of news, don't they? A bit of a gripe of ours, I think.
Yes, I'm very vocal about that. Greg.
Yeah, so it's good to hear that. Obviously, you're thinking.
Well, I was going to touch on the media, because the media is the biggest problem for us, because they like to sensationalise things, and it does have a negative impact on what people do.
Yeah.
And I am starting to see some positive press.
Yeah.
So hopefully that'll have the counter effect on that, and then help stimulate the market for us. So there's no reason why it shouldn't.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going into 2024, you've touched on it there. You're thinking prices, property prices are going to rise slightly. Obviously, we've had a bit of an up and down year, haven't we, in 2023, back into 2022. I guess you've got 40 years service. You've seen peaks and troughs before. What are you seeing for 2024? Quite a few
ups and downs, especially with my football team as well. So, but we
plenty of ups and downs there.
Let's not get into football just this early, Rob. We'll get into that later.
Football. Yeah, you're right. Going back to the 40 years, I thank you again for that question. And I think this last year for me, I was talking to Gareth Herbert about this last week. I think this has been the most challenging year
in your time.
For me, I think it has. It's just been around energy, trying to re-energise my team.
Right.
To focus on the three key things for us is retaining customers, protecting those customers, and generating new lead streams. They're the key ones, and we're in a difficult market. We're not quite sure what next year is going to bring. So I think 2024 for us, I think it's going to be relatively a stable market next year. I think if we end up next year as well as we've done this year, I think it'll be a great year.
Brilliant.
I think we're going to set the foundations for a 2025. I think we're just going to knock it out of the park. I think 2025 is going to be a great year.
Good.
So I think we focus on next year, retaining our existing customers, carry on protecting them, keeping them in the homes is a big thing for us, and then working with you guys to help you generate more lead streams. So I think as far as interest rates, I think the Bank of England will probably hold for a couple of months beginning of next year. I think maybe before spring you'll see a rate reduction, and then probably towards the end of the year, I'm hopeful that you'll see signs that we may drop past 4% into 2025. So if we can get to a sub 4 in Q1 2025, and I think the normal market will be 3.5% to 4.
Which is I think we've all talked
that's
about.
A normal market.
That's what we've all been working towards. Ben, same for you. 2023. Obviously, it's been an up and down year, hasn't it? Tough one.
Well, like Rob says, it's been a huge challenge, but interestingly, talk about purchase business. We're actually up this year, compared to what we did last year. So, we're 5% up in terms of the mortgages that we did. Bearing in mind we've actually done pretty much the same amount of mortgages. So 5% is a great return for us.
Yeah, in a difficult year, because like you say, it's been up and down.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
I think I'll jump on that. I think I've seen that movement for you as well. I think a lot of that is down because you return quite quickly to face-to-face conversations in branch, and I think that's where you do pick up those type of purchase customers. More of that. Your awareness in the region is excellent through these podcasts. You do a lot of the podcasts as well. So the way you do things will generate more of that interest.
Yeah, I think people probably need that security, don't they? Coming in to see somebody and having that, because again, it's been all over, isn't it? And you speak to one guy and one in the industry has one view, somebody else. So I guess going into the branch to see an advisor gives you that bit of security, does it?
People still, there's still a massive demand for it. I do sometimes think it's a strange way to do a mortgage over the phone.
Yep.
I don't think you get all the facts that you need. It's a bit of a rush job. However, it works for some people. But in terms of the market in 2023, our guys have done a sterling job. You know, in the results that they delivered, and most importantly, I think I agree with Rob. 2024, I think the first half of the year will be very similar to this, but then you'll see that positivity spread through, and I think 2025 will be a game-changing year.
Yeah.
It's just interesting on interest rates because we talk about currently it's 5-6% rates.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's our job, in the job of the mortgage advisors, to educate customers that a normalised market is probably anywhere between 3 and 4%.
Yeah.
Where clients previously are used to 0% interest rate. So how do you see that conversation, you know, with customers and the reaction that you have from those, because they're used to 1-2% rates, and we're saying a normal market is 4%, which is actually quite positive at the minute.
Yeah.
So it's a difficult dynamic, isn't it, to have those conversations, because
It is. I do think with the press and other things, I think it's all about educating customers that wasn't the norm. I think that we are seeing signs that's coming through. I think they are more accepting of these interest rates. Now. You can see that by the number of mortgages you guys are doing, and the service you're delivering on your customers. So if you look at the interest rates now, 2-year fix is 5.79 roughly, and then you've got a 5.25 on a 5-year fix. That has come down, and and it will continue to come down. So I think the more the customers see those rates being advertised, being promoted by you guys, then it will naturally become the norm for them.
Yeah.
I think if you're buying a house now, this is the normal. If you're a first-time buyer,
Yeah.
So you're going, if you can afford at 5.5-6%, and that's what your payments are, that's your normal.
Yeah, and I think that's a good position, isn't it? We've got young Ben, our producer, he's bought at that rate. So if you can afford it now, he doesn't know any different as a first-time buyer. He doesn't know any other rate, so he knows what the rate is now. If the rates come down, what it allows him to do is overpay, reduce his term, whatever else as well going forward. So it probably puts him in good stead.
Well, what you are seeing now, it's a good point you mentioned there, Ben, is that the increasing number of first-time buyers now you're seeing. Because the reason for that is, like Ben, I'm sure he's got comfortable with his income and his outgoing. Probably could do with a pay rise, I guess, at some stage. But he did tell me to get that plug in if I could. So once you get comfortable with your outgoing expenditure, and you know what to expect, then you're going to see those first-time buyers returning. So and then you'll see more confidence early part of next year. You need the stock on there that's going to fit that market as well. Yeah. So hopefully next year you'll see that. I don't know where new build's going to go next year. You'll probably have a similar sort of year on new build. I think we completed 160,000 completions, new build completions.
Right.
I can't see that increasing that much next year.
No.
And especially if the smaller property prices, you need that market.
Yeah.
You
do, because that's where the first-time buyers are back into now, aren't they? I think we've gone through the Help to Buy scenario where they double jumped in the whatever, so we need to get back to 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom starter homes, don't we? So
we do.
Agree.
Just to jump in, I think this year, especially this year, I think it's been not great for the consumer, but it's been a real challenge for the advisors. And I think when we come out of it, I think the standard of advice that people are going to get is going to be a lot better. We've had 12, 13 years of rates being around 1.5 to 2%, and all that was happening is your 2-year deal would end and you'd just get another one, and it was that straightforward. There was no real advice going into it, but it's been, for retention advisors especially, it's been a hard year when you're telling someone the payment's going up £300, £400, £500. It's not a nice conversation to have, but the beauty is it'll come full circle for the likes of Ben when in 2 years hopefully he sits down and the advisor's saying, right, well, your payment's dropping £300, So, but the standard of advice, I think, now for the whole market is going to be a lot better.
I think, another great point. So one thing that happens in a 1% interest rate market is it's pretty vanilla advice that's you're giving.
Just not with the best
and what we have seen over the last 12 months is advisor knowledge improving around, not just looking at the top 6 to 8 lenders, because if you look at MAB's lending over the last 12 months, we've actually used over 100 lenders.
Right. Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, 70% of lending went to the top six,
Yeah.
eight. So,
Yeah.
but what we have seen recently is that being distributed to some of the specialist lenders
Yeah.
that have got great products. They're pushing a lot. I know they're coming, trying to get out to see you guys and see your advisors, and to share what they can do for your customers. So I think you're going to see a lot more of that next year.
Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. So what do you most enjoy about your job then, Rob? You've got a busy, obviously, we've discussed you. You're quite busy in what you do, so what do you most enjoy?
So I talked to Ben and Phil about this, and it's interaction with business owners.
Yeah.
For me personally, is I took the role of sales director on in the 1st of April, and most of my time is sort of trying to get the sales team operating the way I want it to operate, and I think I'm nearly there with that. So
Right.
I'm looking forward to the start of 2024. And having to spend a lot of time in our head office has reduced the number of times I've actually been managed to get out.
Get out, yeah.
So the thing I really enjoy is interacting with business owners, sort of strategising, business consultancy. I would like to think, Ben, Phil, and Mark have enjoyed that with me, and the support we
And I
give.
guess you're getting to share the knowledge, aren't you? So you're taking
Share
what's
knowledge.
good, what we're doing here, and maybe it could work for somebody else, and likewise another company, you
Exactly.
can share that across the board, yeah?
And our business owners are quite collaborative anyway. So
Yeah.
that, we do have peer group meetings. We do, they're open the doors. Not every one of them, but most of them
Yeah.
do. So sharing ideas is what we do,
Yeah.
and I like to think we do add value through partnership.
Right, so this section, it's normally the monthly moan with Mr. Riley and one of our guests, but it's Christmas, it's festive time, so let's have some festive cheer. Rob, have you got anything that you would like to cheer about?
Yeah, so for me, it's a proud moment against around First Mortgage, really. North East is, you've been with us two years,
3 years in
3
January.
years, 3 years in January, and I'm going to show some numbers later on to your sales team, and it's great how you've jumped into our top 10 businesses, which is a real credit to you guys, all the hard work.
How many firms, Rob?
Out of 195 firms, so
Wow.
10, and that's
Within
within
3
3
years.
years. So, yeah.
Do we get a bonus for that?
Well, the bonus is here. I'm doing the podcast.
Ah,
with
that's
you, so,
right, that's right, mate.
I haven't got a moan.
No moans. Mr. Riley,
Yes.
let's get a smile
No-
on your
no
face.
moan,
No
no
moan.
moan.
So come on then, give us a bit of festive cheer about First Mortgage.
Festive cheer about First Mortgage. Well, that's a huge compliment to
Massive,
the team, the staff, you guys. Very proud of what we've achieved this year. Very pleased to be going into battle next year with you guys. Definitely go in the trenches with us.
Good.
Proud of what we've done in the community. We've raised over 8,000 for local charities.
Yeah.
This year we've committed over 15,000 to local sport clubs.
Excellent. Yeah.
And we won the Angel Award.
Right.
Won the Angel Award, which was recognition for all of that, basically.
Yeah, so
So
that's,
really
that's
happy.
brilliant marketing, you know what I mean, for what,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not just what we do, obviously the work we do, helping people with the mortgages, but we do more than that, you know what I mean, we do go a little bit further, don't we?
We'll continue to do it next year. So,
Yeah.
we always ask for the support of the team, and everybody pulls together and gets involved with it.
Yeah.
So, we help charities like Heel and Toe, Fact Cancer Research with food banking, fundraising. So we'll
Yeah.
continue to do that going into 2024 and beyond.
Great stuff. Right, Rob, something nice and easy now, just a fun bit at the end there. So what motivates you? What motivates you to get up every day and drive yourself after 40 years? I keep going back to 40 years, mate. I'm going to have to get it in.
Well, based on that, I'll probably retirement's just round the corner for me after 40 years. You
No,
have mentioned
we
it.
can't have that.
No. So it's a good question. So what motivates me? I guess, again, I touched on it earlier. These type of things.
Yeah.
Getting in these kind of, I'm doing more sort of communications for MAB. It's things I enjoy doing. Something I used to do quite a lot in the past. Business owner meetings. That's the main thing for me.
Great stuff.
I think it's easy to go stale as well.
Well, that's what I mean. You've got to keep re-energising yourself,
But
haven't you?
honestly, this year, I mean, I don't think we've touched on the tech that's coming into play.
yeah.
But this year you've got all that tech. I mean, podcasts. It's a totally different job to what it was 5 years ago.
Oh, well, the tech, yeah. I sort of think, well, that's happening now. I've been
Yeah.
talking about it for 3-4 years, but it's finally here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got its faults, but I know you guys can see the vision. Once we've sort of got rid of those little bugs in it and the digital tools that you can link into it, we're going to be far ahead of the competition, next year.
Yeah.
And we will solve all this by end of Q1. We'll have all these tools embedded. The tech will be working as the way we want it to. The customer experience will be right for the customer, and it's just going to stand us apart from our competitors, if we ever had any competitors, that is, as a partnership. So that's going to motivate me next year, and I know that motivates our chief exec Peter Brobneek.
Yeah. I'd certainly give me a kick, because obviously I've been doing this 9 years now, and coming into this one now, when you're speaking to estate agents and partners, it is something to get excited about, Rob.
Yeah.
There's some brilliant tools in there that we're using, and that we can see coming down the line, and it really is something to engage with people about, and it is exciting because we've got to move forward, haven't we?
Yeah.
We can't stand still. Like you say, things do change all the time, but I forgot about that.
But I
Really
think
good,
as well, some of our
really good.
business partners are excited about
Very
it. We've
inside,
only just
yeah.
started talking to them about it, but you can see they're excited because they know, particularly with some estate agents going into next year, it could be more of a challenge. So we know that we can help them generate more leads and more revenue for their business through these digital tools. So it's good to see business partners excited about it as well, which will grow into as we go into 2024.
We already have evidence it generates leads as well, so which is great.
Yeah. What we want to do. So, going back, if you can remember, I'm sorry, I'm pulling on your age. Ben's got it into us, at the start of the question, and I'm older now, Rob. If we're going back to when you were 16, mate, what advice would you give to Rob at 16 now?
You were licking stamps at 15?
Oh, licking stamps, yeah, don't lick stamps.
Don't lick stamps.
Because it ruins your taste for everything else. So, now what advice I would give, it's probably what I did 2-3 years afterwards, and it's start paying into a pension.
Yeah.
Great shout.
I did this, and I've done it over 35. I don't look wealthy, but I'm reasonably okay, Mark.
You've been doing it since you were 8, haven't you?
I started paying into a pension 17.
Yeah.
My first job 18.
That's pretty good.
And you don't look back. If you can do it, or you can manage to do that through your entire working career, then you'll be okay.
Great
Good
advice.
piece of advice, that.
Great advice. I've been picking up on it. Obviously, as a business owner, there's a lot of people I know that opt out and haven't got pensions. So, living for today isn't always the answer.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Rob. Thanks for making the trip up. We've enjoyed that session. Thank you, Mr. Riley, for being involved. We've had a good one, and we'll see you in 2024.